Hello everybody, here we are for one more VR, for one more video response. This time to my very dear Simon from the Hermit's Cave. First of all, thank you so much, Simon, for so much knowledge, so many experiences that you have shared and that have helped me improving my practice. Thank you very much. So this hashtag that Simon created is top 3 of 3, which means as you probably have already watched him talk about in a much deeper way that I'm going to do, or that I can, of course. Top 3 of 3 means top 3 decks of my choice, in this case, of the 3 main traditions, the 3 main schools, as you want to, as you consider them, the 3 main renditions of tarot, which means Marseille, Marseille type or Pip type decks. I'm going to consider not only Marseille but also historical Italian decks in that category. Then Rider Waite-Smith or Smith-Waite, as I like to call them, and Thoth, created by Aleister Crowley and Lady Frida Harris. Okay, so without further delay, I don't want to make an extremely long video, but every time I say this, I end up with videos of 40 minutes and 50 minutes and so on. Okay, so we are going to start with top 3 of 3. I'm going to cheat a little bit in the way that perhaps I'll show you more than 3, but please consider that they are honorable mentions. Okay, I couldn't choose between some of them. It was really hard. So Marseille style, Marseille type, or Pip decks. I'm going to start with the Meneghello. I'm going to start with this one, which for me is an absolute gem. It is the Naibi di Giovanni Vacchetta, created by Il Meneghello. For those who don't know, it is a French editor. Unfortunately, the creator, Osvaldo Meneghazzi, left us, left this plan we are living now 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago, but the shop is still on and creates some of the most amazing decks, handmade. I'm looking at the card, at the postcard they send with the decks, because I have that on my shelf, saying that is handmade in Italy with love. And this is the Naibi di Giovanni Vacchetta. It is a deck from 1893. Okay, so they bring this certificate. This is 1815 of 2000. A deck from supposedly, and this is most of them are these very ancient and historical decks. We say supposedly because of course there are original cards, most of them in the Paris National Library, in the British Museum, in the Visconti property, but of course that we are not able to know exactly. Supposedly 1893 or around. I'm not going to do a flip through because it is not the case, but I just want to show you these colors. This is absolutely amazing. I cannot show you the quality of the paper. I can show you the backs, typically Il Meneghello, and the details. For example, in the denari, all the faces in the coins are different. It is the attention to detail is so strong that there are no words. And listen to this. There is no paper, no 330 GSM, 350 GSM with this performance, with this feeling when we shuffle. It's absolutely unique, okay. This is okay. So the first of the Pip-style decks, or Marseille style, Marseille school, of course, that I could all show. And this is the part I meant when I said I was going to cheat a little bit, just to show you also the Sopraffino from 1835 and the Minchiati Etruria, a century or more than a century earlier, 1725, a deck with 90-70 cards, which also adds the elements, the natural elements, fire, water, air, and earth, and astrological associations. Absolutely incredible decks, the best decks that I have. Okay. I'm going to drink a little bit of water because my throat is not 100%. And then, okay, so second, with no specific order, because if there was an order, I have begun with the first, with number 1, but I'm using no particular order. So second in Marseille or Pip-style is the 1JJ Swiss Tarot cards. This is an original from 1974, so let's consider it a vintage, which I'm very proud to have. And the particular aspect in this deck, for those who don't know, the JJ is okay, what's happening? Okay, thank you very much, Cam. The JJ refers to the replacement of the Hierophant or Pope card and Popaz or Priestess, High Priestess card. There are no references to religious elements, and they are replaced by pagan gods and goddess. In this case, they are replaced by Juno and Jupiter. Okay, so I really love this deck because it's at the same time detailed but simple. I don't know how to explain this in a better way. Fabrique de Cartes Muller and Company. And I'm looking for Jupiter and Juno, perhaps. Let's see if they are at the bottom. No, they are not. No, they are not. Let's continue the search. I really want to show you, because this is not the only particularity of this deck, but one of the most important. It brings this small I'm not going to, okay, let's call it leaflet. It's very synthesized. Okay, here we go. So here we've got Junon for Major Arcanum number 2, so the Priestess, the High Priestess, the Popess, and here we go with, and now we have to get Jupiter. Where are you? I've already passed through Jupiter and I haven't seen him. Almost impossible because Jupiter knows how to make himself present all the time. I'm really not in the best of my attention level. Okay. Okay, here we go. So Jupiter and Junon, or the goddesses from the Olympus, from the Greek pantheon, replacing Arcanum number 2, the High Priestess, and Arcanum number 5, the Hierophant or the Pope, if you prefer. Okay, so second Marseille or Pip-style deck that I would like to mark in my top 3. And now the part that I cheat a little bit, and I have to show you Pagan Otherworlds, because Pagan Otherworlds is not, let's be honest, it's one of the most incredible decks that I have, but it is not. These are the moon cards. It has additional moon cards which I usually don't use. It is kind of a mix between RWS, Waite-Smith style school, and Marseille. But I tend, as it has this medieval, this historical look, I tend to consider it Marseille. But the quality of the paper, let me see if I can, if the supposed autofocus of the camera helps, and it doesn't. Okay, thank you. I cannot do better than this. But for those who know, this is the only paper that is better than this is Il Meneghello. It is, and I don't know if it is better because I'm not a paper expert, but if it is not better, it is different, because this is perhaps one of the best. This one, together with the Terra Volatile, people generally say Terra Volatile, but that is Latin, and in Latin it would be Terra Volatile. It's some of the best papers that I've already touched in decks. So this one is kind of a mix between RWS and Marseille, but I tend to consider it a Marseille, and it is one of the best in my opinion, and it is definitely in my top 3 or in my honorable mentions. And the last in the Marseille, here you go again, yes, are these decks in the Marseille style, in the Marseille tradition. These decks from Artisan Tarot, creators that I think there are a couple. I think I'm not wrong. If I am, I'm terribly sorry. These creators are absolutely incredible. They also research, restore, and recreate very ancient decks. Nicolas Convert, 1760, Jean Dodal, give me a help please, Jean Oblet, 1650, and this one, which is my favorite, so shame on you, Mattis. This Jean Dodal, I believe it's 1705. It's the beginning of the 18th century, for sure. But all this are incredible decks. Of course, that this Nicolas Convert is perhaps the best known. My first deck ever was a Marseille deck in the Nicolas Convert style. It was a Fournier Marseille Tarot, which I had for a very long time, and with which I learned tarot, with which I learned most of the tarot that I know still nowadays. And I didn't even dream of having another deck, and then it went down the road. So for a very particular reason, this Jean Dodal deck is my favorite. Look at his backs. Look at his backs. 78 puertas explained in a video in which he also launches a hashtag. 78 puertas tarot explains that these are bird footprints. Okay, no matter how you put it, and you see the figures, you see the lines. When you look very close to it, you see that they are bird footprints. And this is absolutely unique in this deck, and I like it very, very much. The paper is also very good quality, and these images, these faces are absolutely incredible. Artisan Tarot doing an excellent work. This Chariot, Reine d'épée, Chevalier d'épée, 4 de paus, 4 of wands, absolutely incredible. Okay, so Jean Dodal for the last in the Marseille, and the back of the cards is also in the box, and of course that with the others we already know how the back of the cards are. Jean Dodal Tarot de Marseille. Okay, and let's move on to RWS. Okay, RWS. Okay, RWS. I have the Centennial. I have many RWS decks. I have many RWS clones, which I love and I can't live without. But from the mass market ones, the one that which I still love the most is this Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. It has no borders. It has the usual booklet from Los Scarabeo, no borders, and these colors, not as pastel as the Centennial. Of course that I love the Centennial, the new version, the mass market version, because it preserves absolutely Pixie's work, Pamela Coleman Smith work, Arthur Edward Waite work. But I really love this coloration, and I really love the fact that this deck is so golden, is so radiant. And I also love the font, the fact that it has no borders, and one detail, I'm a really lover of the cards backs. I know it's not the most important thing about it, but as I'm a fan of the paper quality, I'm also a fan of the backs. And this back with the lilies and the roses for me is one of a kind, absolutely one of a kind. Okay, so the first for the Rider Waite-Smith. Okay, second Rider Waite-Smith, the Golden Rider. This Golden Rider recreates oil paintings based, of course, on Pixie's works, on Pamela Coleman Smith's works. This deck is from, please give me a help, I think it's 1987. It is a vintage one too, and I think it is from 1987. And I had to really check the year of the deck, because for some people, of course, this has no importance at all, but for me it has. And it is as simple as getting the booklet. Come on, Cam, give me a help. It doesn't. Come on. Hello. And here you can see it is 1987 by AG Muller, Neuhausen, Switzerland. Okay, so I think I was saying 1987, and it is. It is not the only deck from 1987 that I'm going to show you. And it has these wonderful, absolutely wonderful backs. And I was telling you that it is inspired in oil paintings by a French artist called François Tapornou. So it gets a total unique approach to Pixie's work. These borders, I edged mine in copper. Let me get to some of the pinks. Look at this. Look at this palette of colors. It's absolutely unique. Look at that background. Look at that sunset, to that gradient of colors, which is absolutely unique. And for me, one of the best. I really, look at this one. I really, really love this deck, because all is energy, colors are energy. Look at that detail in the sky. Okay, it's not all the same. Difference matters, color matters, details absolutely matter. Okay, so number 2 in RWS, the Golden Rider. And number 3 with no special order. Okay, so it was our deal, no special order. My number 1 in RWS is the RWS by University Books, in this case it's a 1961 deck. Okay, and this one I'm sure, I don't have to confirm, by University Books, also known as, aka the Pink Ankh. Oh my God, these backings. I confess that I still haven't had the courage to edge this one. Okay, it needs some refreshing, but I didn't have the courage. I really love these bags. And the Ankh inspires me in such a way that no other, let's call it, object does. So, and I really enjoy the color. Also the color, as you can see, very different from the previous one, and very different from the Radiant Wise Spirit. But I think that by now everyone has already understood that I really like vibrant colors, enthusiastic colors. But I also like the pastel tones of the Centennial, which were the original. Okay, let's not forget they were the original. Look at this, the 10 of Cups. The thing that I don't like, I'm not a fan of yellow. So you can take your conclusions. But Yellow cards, golden cards in the tarot have a very positive connotation. So, and this is one of my absolute favorites concerning pure RWS tarots. But of course that I have some clones that are also my favorites, but we are not talking about, okay, please focus, please. We are not talking about clones, we are talking about the real thing. So here we go with RWS. Okay, and concerning the last style, the last school, the last tradition, Thoth Tarot. Okay, so Thoth Tarot, perhaps the school, the tradition, more misunderstood of all. An incredible work by Aleister Crowley. I know, very crazy things are said, written, and I know that some of them proved about the man. I really want to believe that some of the things were also marketing and advertising strategy to call attention, but his knowledge, his genius, together with the creation by Lady Frida Harris, who designed the art, who designed the cards, are one of a kind. And when you get to read at a deeper level, because we have to be ready to read the book of Thoth, and perhaps with me, I totally assumed that I didn't understand parts of it, and then I had to enter that rabbit hole and start reading about the book of Thoth. I thought, why not going to the root? So let's read the book. But the book is so deep, so hermetic, that for me, in my case, I already had a long experience with tarot, but that's another kind of talk with the book of Thoth. So I had to read a lot about it to get to some parts of it. Most of the books I read are by Lon Milo Duquette, who I also absolutely recommend. Okay, top 3 of Thoth tarot decks. And this introduction was important to explain that I don't work with Thoth clones. I've already tried. I didn't like it. I didn't connect. It didn't make sense to me. But of course, this is subjective, and of course, this is only my humble opinion. So, I only work with the real one. These ones that I'm showing you are exactly the same, created by an artist called Anna, aka Alpha Lear, in Make Playing Cards. So if you go to Make Playing Cards and search for Alpha Lear, in Lear it's Lyr, you will get these 2 pearls, which is a Greenie. A Greenie. Greenie means that it has green borders in linen. Here we go with the Thoth deck, which has these keywords at the bottom that in the beginning, when we start working with it, only make things even more complex than they are when you look at the imagery, and then it all comes together and it all makes sense after a certain time and a great deal of study. So if you are hesitating about doing it, please do, because things will never be the same again. And so these are recreations of the original. And in the Thoth deck, what I'm showing you are all the three possibilities. This one is a larger, a jumbo size, and a mini size, which is excellent for traveling. When you want to grab a deck and take it with you, this one is also incredible. This is linen stock, very high quality, amazing in shuffling. The Fool, the Sun, Ace of Discs, Six of Swords, that here goes with science, Five of Discs, worry, Six of Wands, victory. Here is the Devil. And we could continue, but I have two more to show you. I really love this mini one. It shuffles wonderfully. Very high quality, and these sturdy two-part boxes, which Anna makes with such love and care. Here with the Empress, here with the star. I'm an Aquarius, so the star made all sense. Thank you very much, Alpha Lear. Okay, and so we have two more to go in the Thoth system, in the Thoth school tradition. And what else? For those who are familiar with the Thoth deck, know what a Greenie is. A Greenie is this one. There were, I don't know if there were more, but at least two editions. 1978, 1983 editions, printed in Belgium. Booklet and box created in the USA. Pay attention, Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley were English, but he had to move at a certain point, in spite of having his main property in England. And a Greenie is this amazing huge deck with this white booklet with the green borders. Some people say it wasn't meant to have green borders. Nobody knows for sure. The thing is that if you buy it now, these are the additional cards. Okay, with the Rosicrucian symbol, and here with the Ordo Templi Orientis. The thing is that if you buy them now, you will get gray borders. Nobody knows if they were always meant to have gray borders or not, if the green borders were a printing mistake. There are many theories, and there are so many stories about Aleister Crowley and the things he did and the things he didn't do, that if you go through that rabbit hole, you'll see that the story and the history won't stop. So, but we are talking about favorite decks in my top 3 of 3. No particular order, but this is my number 1 of them all. Okay, when I have to turn to a deck, and it is absolutely and really serious what's at stake, this is the one. This is the one. This is the one that I grab. This is the #1 deck of all time for me. And this is a Greenie from the 1983 version, because the 1983 version is greener than the 1978. Look at this card. It can get better, any better than this. And again, subjective. My opinion. Okay, so not the best for last, but because you already know this one is the best for me, but 3 of 3. So the make playing card recreations, amazing recreations in linen, the Greenie, the 1983 Greenie, and the third one is this Weiser edition from 1987. I was saying to you earlier in the video that I have, together with the Golden Rider that is from 1987, I have another deck from 1987 to show you. It is this one. It's the Thoth Tarot deck by Aleister Crowley, with art from Lady Frida, includes essay by Lady Frida Harris, and also the art, of course. And what is very specific, very particular about this deck, you'll see the gray borders if you don't know it. I know that some people are absolutely allergic to Thoth deck, but I think those people are not here anymore watching this video. The particular thing about this deck, here we go with the much paler borders, is that it has 3 magician cards. I'd like to find the third one. It has 3 magician cards. And again, Lady Frida Harris made various options of the cards for Aleister Crowley to choose, to decide which version he preferred for each card. But in this case, in this version, in this printing, 3 cards of the Magus, of the Magician, were printed and were made available. And I really believe it makes the deck one of a kind. Who never had to look for an entire deck to find a card. Not me, of course. Perhaps I have already passed it through, and I did, of course. Okay, so 1 magician, 2 magicians. In this case, look, the magician with a very clear Hindu influence here, the Magus here. Where is the other? Let me see if it was inside the box. It was inside the box. Okay, so the Magus. This is if you buy the deck nowadays, you are going to get this one. And these were alternatives created by Lady Frida Harris, as it could be seen in the Warburg Institute exhibition of some of the work of Lady Frida Harris for the Thoth deck in the months of March and April. It was one of a kind experience available in London this year. I really hope they make it available again, because to be able to see in person, live, the work of Lady Frida Harris is quite an experience, quite a lifetime experience. Okay, and I think it is all. So my 3 of 3 Thoth decks, with this small addition, if you allow me, as in the other cases. And once again, thank you very much, Simon, for creating not only this hashtag, but also for all the work, all the irreplaceable work that you bring to us, and that makes all the difference. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comment, leave your like in case you have liked, and we'll see each other in the next video.